Hello YouTube fans, here again. I've moving a bag out my way so I don't get in trouble for copyright. Off work today, so I figure I might as well do one of my videos. That's right, do one of my videos. That being A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Team Warriors. That's right, The Team Warriors. Now, even though Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, made it big overseas as well as on our VHS and so on, it wasn't as popular as number one. A lot of people were whinging, a lot of people were crying the fucking river. So when they decided to make the third one, they decided to make it a bit more like the original. Now I do know that originally Wes Craven written the idea for A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors. But at the time, the company thought it was too dark, they thought it was too grim, they didn't get it, so it got scrapped. However, in 1994, when Wes Craven was doing A New Nightmare, the ideas what he originally was going to use for that got used for that instead. But the one that got to direct it is a very unestimated director. I've got to admit, he's a very unestimated director because he's the same director that 1 year after Elm Street 3, he did another film called The Blob. Now, you know what I think about remakes. You know what I think about remakes. But on this occasion, I think the remake of The Blob is a lot better, a lot more superior, and a lot more better than the original. Shoot me, but I really do. I don't mind the original one. I like Cheese Machine. I thought the effects of The Blob looked good for that era. But nevertheless, I've got to admit that the 88, The Blob, the remake one, is a lot better. But before that, he did this film, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Let's go with the bloody film. So you get on with this girl, she's making this toy house. You think you've seen it before. It's the same house from the original, what Nancy lived. And it's the house what they used to be in number 2, the one what Jesse lived. The only bit of issue is they never explain what happened to Jesse. Did Jesse live? Did he die? We all know that number 2 got stabbed. Number 2 got stabbed, never existed in this fucking universe. This was the same. I'd love to know what happened to Tessa. Is she dead? Is she alive? It never tells. But you've got this scene where the girl, if I remember right there, was called Tristan, and she goes to feet. But in like the original one, where Freddy's praying with them before he kills them, in this one, if Freddy gets shot, you're dead for fucking real. Apart from the time they're praying up, you're dead for fucking real. I mean, if Freddy gets shot, you're brown fucking bread. So you've got this date sees, he's running about, and Freddy's chasing her. Goes little girl, says, "Put me down, you're hurting me." Next thing you know, it's a Steraton's fucking head. So I thought maybe that got a few tills. You think it's a nightmare, then Freddy comes back, slits her wrist, and makes it look like she started to kill herself. But the mum comes in the nick of time. And in this one, I like the idea it's in this special place for children who are in need. So they're in this special place, and you get the idea these are the last kids on Elm Street. And they do bring back some of the characters from number 1, like Nancy comes back. And it never explains did Freddy kill? Was it all a nightmare? Was her friends back to life? You got the idea her friends died and Freddy was fucking with her. I just wish they did that idea with Jessa. I really did. But it is what it is. But anyway, she's trying to help all these kids who have these nightmares. They've got one guy in it, and I think it's going to be a love interest between Nancy and her. If you think you've seen him before, he appeared in another film called Body Double. Very good film. If you've never seen Body Double, check it out. You do get Jack Johnson, the actor that played a dad, may he rest in peace. He also prizes his role as the cop. To be honest though, I think they made him a bit more of a douchebag in this. You've got the idea he's down and out now. He works nights and he spends half his time drinking his fucking life away. And he's in denial with the death of Nancy's mum. Which that's one thing they do admit, the death of Nancy's mum, what was ended in the original one. I do like Robert Englund in this. I think they do the makeup. My only issue with Elm Street 3, even though a lot of people like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, is you don't see a lot of Freddy. You don't really see that much Freddy in it. But I do like some of the death scenes. He does still make a good impact, Robert Englund. I like the bit where you've got this one dude who wants to be an actress, and it goes to a TV, and he gets her, and lifts her fucking up, and he says that line, "Here's your big break. Hit the band time, bitch." Rams a fucking head in the TV. Don't like that tuts. I like the bit where he gets this lad and he cuts his veins and he's pulling him around like a puppet, and then he goes that ha ha, knocks him to his death. There's one iconic scene, apart from this noisy chant bouncing about. There's one iconic scene where you've got this doff chick like a punk, and she pulls thick knives out and she tries to get the better of Freddy. You got the idea she used to be a drug addict, and he's got these nails, they turn into needles, and he rams them in her arms. He says that line, "Ah, what a wuss." I do know originally that was going to be a lot more gruesome. They was going to do a scene where her eyeballs explode and her head blew up, but because they looked at the effect, they didn't think it looked that great. And it's the same here, I'd love to have seen that. So the few little bits in here where the MPA's stuck the urine. I do know there's a scene where Freddy gets one lad, rips his heart out, and he says that line, "So he did, but I do believe in fairy tales." And he pulls his heart out. Well, I do know that was going to be a lot more graphic. Again, MP fucking A, sticking the fucking hair, sticking the fucking nose in the MPA, I meant to say. But it's still a dud one. I do know in this as well, Freddy being that dancer gets the better. Freddy kills him in this because they don't dig the body up, and they got the idea if you bury him alive and bury the bones where he was buried in a car place. My only issue is you got Freddy's mum, the fucking nun. I never liked it the first time. Right, Di meets him, he got the idea she was a nun and she got raped by fucking 1,000 maniacs, and that's how Freddy was put on Earth. And I'm thinking, really? Really? I didn't think it was fucking needed. To me, I like the idea of Freddy Krueger. He can live near your area. He can live on your street. The less you know about Freddy, the more frightening that character is. The more frightening Freddy fucking Krueger is. And that's what made Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 unique. Well, the original, I should say. That's what made the original Nightmare on Elm Street unique. The less you knew about him, the more frightening he is. All you needed to know is he used to be a child killer. What the fuck is all this shit about Freddy's mum, the nun? Who gives a fuck? But that's how I see it. That's how I see it. Just bear with me one moment. Sorry about that, I had to shut my window because all I hear was every 2 minutes a can bouncing around in the wind. If you've heard a bit of noise outside, we had a noisy can being blown around by the window, so I just shut the window so you don't hear it. But yeah, I never really did a shit about Freddy's mum, the nun. And you got the idea she hung herself. Whether she hung herself or Freddy killed her, didn't really give a shit any of its fucking way. I know they do bring the nun back in number 5, but it just didn't interest me. Just didn't interest me that bit, but the rest of it was good. They buried the bones. My only issue is, just like the nun bit, is Nancy gets killed in this, right? She gets killed, and how does she get killed? It's going to be an happy ending, right? And she sees her dad. You got the idea because her dad got killed. He's a good guy now, and she wraps around what she thinks is her dad. Long behold, it's Freddy fucking Krueger, and Freddy stabs Nancy. And he's trying to kill Tina, and the Team Warriors get the better of him. And then he just gets buried alive. You get the cross on his forehead, and he vanishes away. It's like sad. Tina's got her arms around Nancy. You got the idea she's died. And then you find out the bit I just said, that used to be the mum, being the nun. I do like the song in it. It was done well from a well-known pop band called The Team Warriors. I'm not gonna dream no more. I do admit, I do like that song. I do admit it was a very good taxi song, which they did back in the day. Had a music video. But no matter what I think of Elm Street 3, it's still not a bad one. It hit box offices. 1 year after they did Elm Street 4, it made a big name for Robert England again. And I do know originally it had a theatrical trailer. It's like a TV teaser, which originally was pretty frightening. That when they re-released it on video, they had to alter the trailer. The trailer with a little girl was making this humming noise. She's humming the song 6, 5, Freddy's coming for you. That song. Soon as she gets the bit, he's back again, a fucking big hand jumps out and you hear the sound, he's back again. I do remember that was so frightening that they had to alter that trailer when they re-released the VHS version. But you can now see it. I do admit that's the only bit I thought what was scary was that original Jesus trailer. And I do know a little bit of history that the first opening with Tina's making that house and she's playing this rock song. Over the years, you didn't actually hear the original version of that song. They had to stop it because of copyright. Have to say now on DVD and on the remastered versions of video, they can now actually have the looks of having that original song, which was never shown originally. But a few little touches here and there, which I've noticed I've altered a bit from Elm Street 3, the Team Warriors. But it's still not a bad one. I like the characters. Like I say, you've got Team K, you've got the Puppet Master before he gets killed, you've got the lad who's in a wheelchair, says, and the Wizard Master before he gets killed by Freddy, you've got the Doth Chick, you've got like a lot of good characters in it. You've got like say Team K and he uses his voice all the way through the film and then he gets his confidence and outsmarts Fed out, but he gets dragged through the mirror and he gets slapped out of the mirror. My only issue is number 4, the fact that the characters get killed. That, again, like Nancy's role, kind of pissed me off in number 4. Because all the shit they go through in this one, just for Freddy to kill them all off, just like that. It kind of pisses me off. It pisses me. That's the only little bit I would have a nitpick and a little bit of a rant when it comes to number 4. But I still like number 4. I like it for the practical effects and so on. But Elm Street 3 goes back to 1987, being Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. The Team Warriors, what can I say? Still a dudder, so fuck it. A 6-star rating for me. But instead I'll do some more movies, some more movie reviews. If you like what you hear and you like what you see, let me know. I'll leave a nice comment. But until then, down with the autumn marathon of the 80s and down thinking of new things to do on the way. But until then, be smart, be safe. See you later.